Welcome to the Grand Review. This is the show that's all about movie news and reviews. I'm your host and concierge on this flight through the cinematic skies, Garrett Ray. And joining me as always, up in the Diamond Elite class, it's the man with more movie miles than anyone you've ever met. It's Andy Delia.
Yes, thank you, Garrett.
Well, thanks for coming to be a part of this, Andy. Once again, we are here in the chairs we're cursed to sit in every week and watch these movies.
Yep.
But there are worse curses, you know? Like, we could be gingers. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with gingers.
I'm sorry. I meant French. Okay, so if you've never joined us on the show before...
Touché.
If you've never joined us on the show before, basically this is how it works. We do a spoiler-free review right up front of this week's movie. Then we'll jump into spoilers. We'll give you a heads up when that's coming, and then we'll do the news there at the end of the show. There are time codes in the notes for the show, so if you want to jump around, you can do that at whatever pace you want. But we're going to go ahead and just jump right into this week's movie. This week, we are talking about Fight or Flight. This is a movie that stars Josh Hartnett, and it basically is a movie that has an airplane, a chainsaw, and that's all you need to know.
And a whole bunch of assassins.
This movie is it's kind of hard to talk about the plot and give a summary without also spoiling it. So I feel our spoiler-free section will be rather short overall. But
it will be.
Yeah, but good, bad, great, or terrible is how we rank these. Andy, what do you rank in Fight or Flight?
I'd have to go with good.
Okay,
just because it was a lot of fun. It's a bad movie. Let's make no bones about that. It's a bad movie, but it's fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And it's fun to laugh at.
Yeah.
And I wish we had like a case of beer to drink while we were watching that. That would have been even better. And I wish we were the only ones in the theater to just like rip it apart.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been, but unfortunately there were two other people in the theater when we saw it.
Honestly, though, at the very end, we almost kind of accidentally struck up a conversation with the guy in front of us. I think he would have joined in.
Oh, okay.
This one... It's a movie that's kind of so tongue-in-cheek that the tongue is now wiggling through the other side. It's bored a hole through the cheek.
Yeah.
It's an absurdist comedy, but doesn't delve super far into absurdity. It's trying to act like the stakes are high, but never takes itself seriously.
Right.
It has.
That's probably one of the saving graces of this film too. Is it definitely does not take itself very seriously.
Right. And on one hand, it's like it still wants you to because it uses the F word like it's punctuation, and it's one of those things where look, I'll just jump in here if it's okay. This is a bad movie. I cannot, in any good conscience, give this anything higher than a bad. That doesn't mean I didn't have a fun time. But yeah, if I drank, this would be a movie I'd drink and watch.
That's why I said it was good.
Yeah.
But it's a bad movie.
Yeah. I think I have to give it a bad just because I need some feeling this week that I'm... some feeling of superiority. No, it
gives you hope that you could actually make a film better than this.
Yeah, it was encouragingly bad. And look, don't get me wrong. Like I think if this is something I had directed and people were having fun with it, like the way that we did last night, I'd feel pretty good about that. And I think that it has merit as a sort of goofy, just throwaway movie.
Generally, it's a poor man's Bullet Train.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
It's the exact same story as Bullet Train, except it's on an airplane.
Yeah.
Which
it's Bullet Train with half the style.
Yes.
And about, even though they're going faster than a bullet train, it does not feel like they're moving at all.
And half the cast.
Yeah.
Like there is no Brad Pitt and Sandra Bullock and Aaron Taylor Johnson.
And the weird thing is, like, Josh Hartnett, I don't think is doing a bad job, but if I saw Brad Pitt do exactly the same acting job, I'd believe him more. I don't know why.
Brad Pitt probably got that script and was like, no.
I've already done this better.
And Josh Hartnett, like, he's almost in Nicolas Cage territory that you just hand him the script and, yes, okay, just...
And I know that Hollywood is trying to say we're in the Hartnettissance era, like Josh Hartnett's back, baby. And I'm like, was he ever here? I don't know. Like, I know he popped up a lot, like, earlier on in like the 2000s to 2010s. And then he kind of went away for a bit. And now he's popped up in a couple of things. But when your big comeback is a Shyamalan movie, oof.
Yeah, and a bad Shyamalan movie to boot.
Right, yeah.
But I think he's one of the main leads in Verite that's coming out next year too.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So that's going to be a big vehicle for him.
The thing is, like, there are moments where I think he's doing a really good job with what he's given, and then there are other moments where I'm just like, I think they were bored and just wanted to see what he could get away with this line delivery.
I think that's how the chainsaw ended up in it.
It must have been. I don't know how to describe this movie except as a movie that a 13-year-old who has had nothing but Doritos and Mountain Dew for 4 days would have written. It's so insane and juvenile, and
that's about right.
And but there are moments where it genuinely is just like, this is so goofy, it's fun.
Yeah.
And this doesn't really spoil anything, but at the beginning of the movie, he gets in a fight in a bar, and then he's told to get on this plane. He gets in the cab, and there's just the cab driver looks back at him, he's covered in blood, and the cab driver just goes,
What
wet wipes? The hands of a wet wipe. And it's just like...
It just goes from there.
Yeah, and that sets the tone for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Before that, the opening scene is something that they flash back to later, and just kind of shows some of the madness without giving away what's going on. So it's like, It uses that well because it's a funny way to open the movie, and then it cuts to sunshine, lollipops, and fire! And it's so ridiculous.
I still wonder if the co-pilot was Neville Longbottom from the Harry Potter movies.
He's not, but he looks like him. It does look like him.
Did you look that up?
Yeah, because I thought the same thing. I was like, no, that's the thing is everyone's kind of a knockoff. Like, this guy was Neville Shortbutt, not Longbottom. And then we've got, what did I call him? Bargain Bin Luke Evans as one of the main bad guys, and then you've got Indian Mr. Bean, and everyone is just like, if you pulled some actors out of a alternate reality where different people were famous but are kind of the same.
Well, or
that's
I just thought it was all stunt doubles from famous movies.
Maybe so, yeah. And the thing is, though, like, most of them are not bad. Like, they're pretty good performances, except for, I don't remember what Discount Luke Evans' name was in the movie. I'm looking at the list of people's names. Was he wasn't Royce? I don't think. No, Royce was the other guy. Was he Aaron Hunter? I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I have no idea. But anyway, Discount Luke Evans, he's just kind of like, I'm a bad person, and Katie Sackhoff's like, I'm a worse person, and like, it's ridiculous, and it's you don't buy it for a second. And I'm sitting there writing notes as we're watching the movie, and I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to be intimidated by Katie Sackhoff, but I have no idea why I should be.
So I know you were talking with the guy in front of us. Like, where did Katie Sackhoff come from?
Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, okay.
That's where people who would be obsessed with her would have found her.
Okay.
Because she was the hot lady in Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, she was the main Cylon?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, see, I never watched that.
I never did either.
I was told that I had to, but no, I never did.
Surprising then that you didn't.
No.
Because I told you had to see Little Italy, and you watched that.
Which you will never let me live down. Thank you so much.
Again, very sorry. It was not on purpose. I didn't think you'd actually
I got revenge with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's true. We're even. Josh Hartnett is full of strawberry syrup. I just wanted to say that because he absolutely... The blood in this movie is so strawberry syrupy some of the times. But it is full of some ridiculous action stuff, things that are just, look, it's written by a 13-year-old, clearly, but also I'm fine with that because I am a 13-year-old on the inside. The writer of this movie, so DJ Catrona is one of them, and he was...
There's more than one writer,
there's
really?
There's two writers. So DJ Catrona is one of them, and he was the Pedro... one of the superhero family in Shazam and Shazam Fury of the Gods.
Okay.
He played Agent Devlin in Spy Kids Armageddon, so really just doing the hits here.
So he's a bad actor that wrote a bad screenplay.
But he also was in From Dusk Till Dawn, the series. He was Seth Gecko in that?
Yeah, that's
was that not good?
No.
Oh, okay. The other one is Brooks McLaren. And Brooks McLaren does not have a hyperlink on Wikipedia, so in my mind, they don't exist.
It's a ghostwriter.
It might be. Actually, that would be very funny.
So the theory on that too, maybe it was the other guy that created a ghostwriter so he could get double the pay.
Yeah, maybe so.
That's a good scam.
Oh goodness, this guy, Brooks McLaren is writing on Rambo: New Blood, a TV series in development, and wrote How It Ends, which I've never even heard of this, but it has Forrest Whitaker in it. So anyway,
nope. Don't know.
The director of this, James Madigan. So I looked this guy up because he also, no hyperlink, but he was a visual effects person on Iron Man 2, second unit director on Transformers Rise of the Beast, second unit or assistant director on The Meg, and then did some episodes of Runaway, director of Medal of Honor, 2 episodes of Medal of Honor, second unit director on C, Snake Eyes, Bill and Ted Face the Music, Allegiant, Insurgent, Red 2, G.I. Joe Retaliation. So he's kind of done a bunch of second unit director stuff. This is, as far as I understand, his feature film directorial debut. And it's fine.
Okay.
Like, you know, like the action is totally serviceable. And I do think that there are definitely moments of like the not telegraphing, but the geometry of the fight like makes total sense and stuff, and that's really hard to do. And I think it works really well in that regard. But also, and maybe this is the editor, maybe it's not, I don't know. But there's this trick you can do when you're editing a fight scene where you cut out one single frame where the punch hits, and it just makes it feel faster and more impactful. And the first big fight that happens in this movie where you really see it, they're cutting out like 3 or 4 frames. Like there's such a big jump. You're like, that was a cut. Like it wasn't impact. It was just like, where'd the hit go?
in the biggest, nicest airplane bathroom that I've ever seen. Him had a shower.
That bathroom is bigger than the bathroom in my house. I'm not kidding. Yeah, I don't know who these Diamond Elite people are, why they need to take a shower on this flight, but why do they get to live better than me?
Right.
Anyway, Elon Musk, I hope you lose all your money. So, also Jeff Bezos and just that guy Jerry who cut me off in traffic last week. He doesn't have a lot of money. His truck's pretty beat up, but I hope he loses.
How about that horses, you know what, head of Netflix that...
Yeah, Ted Sarandos. More like Ted Saran, wrap him and throw him in the ocean. Got him. Nailed it. All right. So... so the whole plot of this movie is that there's someone named the Ghost who has been doing, I guess, domestic terrorist sort of operations throughout the world.
That's what it seems like.
And some government organization wants to track the Ghost down. And Josh Hartnett has had a red notice put out on his head. He's been stranded in Bangkok for 2 years. He's very angry about it. And
that's an understatement.
and then basically he has to get on this plane, figure out who the Ghost is, and then a bunch of other assassins are also there.
Protect her.
And then spoilers. Whoa, spoilers.
That's not.
It's in the trailer.
It is.
That's so lame. I actually didn't watch the trailer for this, so I literally had no idea what this is. I had seen 10 seconds of a ad that was running where it was Josh Hartnett looking bewildered, and then he had a chainsaw, and I was like, okay, I'll see that one. Like that was literally all I knew about this going in.
Well, that was the easiest movie for us to fit in this week.
Yeah, it worked out. Like I'm not mad I saw it.
Yeah.
But
there's bigger waste of time that I'm sure The Crow.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could have been watching Borderlands again. We could have. What's another thing we could have watched that would have been bad?
Garfield the movie.
Yeah.
Even the ones with Bill Murray. Like,
yeah. Let's just put a moratorium on the fat cat.
Yeah.
Let's leave him alone.
I agree.
Instead, let's focus on the fat cats who take all the money for those giant bathrooms and airplanes. And that's called callback humor. See, comedy is, when I put comedy on the hashtags for this podcast, it's relevant. But yeah, everything just kind of goes to heck, and there's...
Yeah, real fast.
There's some twists and turns that are surprising. I'm doing finger quotes very loudly.
Yeah, I know,
and they're really surprising things happening. And
no.
Yeah. There's some punching and shooting and whatnot. Would you recommend people go see this?
No. I really wouldn't. I would recommend a case of beer and streaming.
I am just as big of an advocate as you are for people going and seeing things on the big screen. But this is one of those things that,
not this one.
It's a perfect movie to sit at home and watch while you are just like, I don't care about anything and I just want to make fun of something.
Yes.
This is perfect for that. And like I said, I'm going to give it a bad, but I'm not actually harping on it. It's dumb in so many ways, but it knows it is, so whatever.
Yeah, so maybe this should have been called Flight Risk.
Maybe it should have been called that movie you'll see on a flight maybe someday.
Well, the funny part about it is...
I take the comedy tag off. I'm sorry, that wasn't good.
Stuff like this will never be shown on an airplane because it's on an airplane.
Oh, do they not do that?
Yeah, no, they
Really?
don't.
Oh.
There's only like one film that ever broke that, and that was Rain Man. Because they mentioned Qantas in a good light. So that really like
That's
if a
literally
movie
the only time that's ever happened
features
to Qantas.
something on a plane, like Snakes on a Plane did not play on a plane.
Is it like because it freaks people out?
I think so.
Huh. So
it creates a lot of anxiety.
So it was a bad idea for me to start rewatching Lost on my flight to New York a couple years ago.
Yeah, probably not.
Because that first episode is just plane crash.
You know what? I've never seen one single episode of Lost.
It's good and frustrating.
And the reason I stayed, like, I was working at a bank at a time. I wasn't even working in a theater in back office, Global Trust and Securities. And everybody went nuts over that show, which means I needed to stay as far away from it as possible because
You're
I'm
a
like,
hipster.
I was not the
I thought it was uncool before people got to the end of it. Just kidding.
When everybody makes a big deal about stuff like that, it's automatically like, really? It's not that good then.
Lost was... I remember at the time we watched it week to week, and it was just an interesting thing to like try to pick apart the mystery. The problem is it doesn't ever solve it really at the end, so it's frustrating.
The only thing that was kind of interesting for me to try and watch that was Terry Quinn's in it, and I like him.
He's great,
and he's the original stepfather. Like that's a good old horror film too.
I've not seen that.
That's a good one. Low grade horror film where he's a serial killer that kind of changes his identity from family to family, ingratiates himself, and then ends up killing off the entire family.
Whoa, okay. Stepfather, you said.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
There's a part two, too, that's just really stupid, but the first one's pretty good.
Stepfather 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. And then he's also in Young Guns.
Oh, right.
I really like him in that, too. Yeah. And The Rocketeer, another...
Yes, I love The Rocketeer.
50s cliffhanger style film that I love.
Ugh, The Rocketeer is so good.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's stop talking about things we enjoy and move on to spoilers.
Yeah.
So here's all the story spoilers. Let's just get it out of the way.
So the ghost is an Indian girl.
Yes. She's not 16, she's 25, you jerk. And
woman. She's an Indian woman.
She's a young Indian woman who was trained to hack, which means she also knows how to do karate. Deal with it. That's just how it is. And then Josh Hartnett, the reason he had a red notice put on his head is because he beat up a guy who had a penchant for beating up prostitutes that he was supposed to protect while he was in Secret Service. So he walks in on this guy he's supposed to protect, sees him beating a woman, and then beats the crap out of this guy, which you would think, screw that guy, he deserves it, right? Nope, it's the brother of some CIA dude. So
which is ripped off of To Live and Die in L.A., because that was
which is ripped off of the real life story of the CIA. I'm just kidding. Secret government agencies are bad.
Yeah, that was one of the... To Live and Die in L.A. is a good William Friedkin movie. One of William Dafoe's first films. William Peterson counterfeiting. That's William Peterson is part of the Secret Service, and that's how he gets kind of bumped down.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so it's basically that. He's stuck in Bangkok, and then Katie Sackhoff calls him and is like, hi, I know it's been 2 years, and they do this thing that really annoys me in movies where they hint at stuff but don't actually tell you what's going on. It's very annoying, but I'm like, fine, this is your plot contrivance, whatever. And you think that they're like CIA or FBI, but then she keeps saying, oh, I'm not beholden to the standards of the agency anymore, and blah, blah, blah. Turns out she is just in charge of a social media company, and I have Blue Hype. I wrote it down.
Which is really funny.
There's a sign outside that says, trust Blue Hype with all your data. And I just, no.
I thought it was making fun of Google.
I think it's making fun of Google or Facebook or whatever. Yeah, like they have special operative teams committing war crimes around the world. Apparently they use child labor. What are you using child to labor? Like, what do you?
Well, it's even like the one thing is the one guy finds sensitive information and they go into the next room and it's not even like all they do is just walk through a door. And then they start talking.
Right, yeah. Do they
with
even
other
close
people
it?
No, with like other people around.
This is such a dumb movie. My goodness. I'd like to just point out a few notes that I wrote down. One in particular that is just a line item I wrote down that I'd like to see if you remember when this happened. I wrote down, why did his penis squeak?
Don't remember that at all.
There's a point where Josh Hartnett is fighting someone and she repeatedly grabs his junk.
Oh, that part.
And there's one point where she just does like this twist and you just hear squeak. And I turned to Hannah. I was like, why did it squeak? And she goes, I don't know. But there's stuff like that all through this. Like a guy who gets... Josh Hartnett's got him down on the ground. He tells him not to move, but the guy tries to go for it, and he smashes his face in with a computer, and the Windows shutdown noise plays.
Yeah,
like there's that. There's another guy who gets his toes cut off with like a serving tray. She just like smacks his foot with it. There's a guy who.
The part where he puts like a mountain climbing axe in the woman's head. It looks like Ray. Because the whole thing is he drank like half a bottle of toad venom.
Yeah, so apparently he thought it was adrenaline, but then they peel back the label, and under the label that says adrenaline, it says toad venom, and they go, toad venom, very, very potent. And I was like, do toads have venom?
Some do.
Really?
Yes.
I had
there
no
are
idea.
poisonous frogs.
Okay, yeah, but is it venom if it's poisonous? Because there's venomous and poisonous, and they're different. Because venom is something that would be injected like a snake.
Right.
But poisonous is
Which is what I couldn't figure that if it was toad venom, why didn't he immediately die as soon as he drank like half a bottle of it?
Right, but I guess it's just a hallucinogenic?
Well, that was because he puts that axe in like that woman's head.
Just
and
sees sparks flying.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, That is not the best part of this movie, though. The best part of this movie is after he stabs the lady in the head and he's high on toad venom, he looks over and he sees one guy trying to shove another guy into the overhead storage compartment. But then it cuts to Josh Hartnett's point of view, and the one guy's floating and he's lifting him up, and they're looking at each other with love in their eyes. And then later they open up that same compartment, and the guy in the overhead compartment does one kick, and then Josh Hartnett just closes him back in. And it's like, it's moments like this where I'm like, this is all so wonderful.
Right.
But also
so bad.
The stuff I had to sit through with Katie Sackhoff and discount Luke Evans, I can't justify. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And
then just even like the look on Josh Hartnett's face when he gets that chainsaw and he's all hopped up and he's
yeah.
And he's so overacting.
He's really going for it. And you know what's funny? Those moments where he's overacting when he's high on toad venom, I totally bought and was like, this is wonderful. But it's the moments before that and after that when he's on the phone with Katie Sackhoff's character. Her name's Brunt. And
they just refer to her as Brunt.
Yeah, her last name is... Whose last name is Brunt ever in the history of anything? And so, sorry if your last name's Brunt for making fun of you, but it is a dumb name, and you should expect to be the brunt of all the jokes. Anyway, so the stuff where he's on that is like he's already acting like he's high on toad venom, but I guess he's a drunk, so it makes sense. But I don't know. There's just something
the whole thing about the supercomputer that's in the bottom part of the airplane.
Yeah. I thought that was a chemical weapon at first because the first time they show it, it's like smoking and kind of has like a green, smokiness to it. I'm like, okay, so obviously this is going to kill everyone if all of this goes bad. Like this is the ghost insurance plan. No, it's a supercomputer that can hack things in 30 seconds that would normally take 10 years. And she made it because she's real smart.
She didn't look real smart.
Her name, I actually really like her. Her name's Charithra Chandran. Sorry.
Okay.
Chandran. I liked her. I thought she was fun.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot. But yeah, the moments that were absolutely... Okay, first off, how many Ambien does it take to kill a person? Because there's a character named Garrett who gives one of their Diamond Elite people 4 Ambien, and I was like, is that murder? That might be murder. I'm not sure. And then, like, I came back to the bathroom from the bathroom. I had to run out real quick, and I came back, and someone had just been given 4 Ambien, and then I come out, and Josh Hartnett is staring down a man playing the clarinet. Apparently, I missed a whole fight breaking out, But I just walked in and he's just playing the clarinet, and then he stops playing and pulls a knife out of the clarinet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't even need context. This, without context, is fantastic. But he also gets his butt handed to him quickly, proving yet again that I was right to not choose a woodwind instrument. And I played French horn, and we are the most powerful part of the band.
Well,
I'm just saying.
And watching somebody get strangled with a airplane
seatbelt, that went on for so long.
I didn't think that was possible.
His eyes were bugging out, man.
I could barely buckle those things, let alone like try to strangle somebody with it.
Also, Isha, the ghost, she picks up what looks like, it's not a bedpan, it's like a serving pan or whatever, but there's a sound that plays when she hits a guy in the head with it, and it goes doing, and it's so funny. Like, the sound effects are ridiculous. Well,
or even the first encounter that Josh Hartnett has with the Latino guy that's supposed to be like an actor.
Yes.
You can tell those glasses are plastic.
Yes.
And dubbed in like the glass clinking.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just stuff like that. It's a small portion of that, but you can definitely tell like those are something you buy at Walmart.
Right. Yeah. And the really weird part is you can get glass ones at Walmart.
Right.
Why not get the glass ones?
Like, did they really have to get a sound effects person to dub all that in?
I guess so. I mean, you
There's
got to
money
find
not well spent.
You got to find something to spend your $70 million budget on.
Is that what?
That's what the budget is.
Really?
Yeah. So that's according to Alabama.gov, the production budget is $70 million.
Was it shot in Alabama?
I believe so. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so no tariffs on this one.
No, but 100% tariffs on everything from outside the country. Which, to be fair, now just think about this for a second. What have the French really ever done for us? I'm just saying. If we can stop French foreign films from coming in here and being annoying.
Yeah, but it's not just foreign films.
It's everything shot anywhere not in the U.S.
Right.
But to be fair, also, what has the rest of the world ever done for us? I mean, really, if you think about it. Like, sure, we have all of our culture imported from around the world. All of our people are imported from around the world. But really, what has the rest of the world ever done for America? That's all I'm saying.
Well, there was Allied in World War I, World War II.
We came to their help. I'm just saying.
Even still.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Obviously.
Goodness, politics. So fun. So dumb. So Master Leon, who has a couple of students, they're all monks. And I wrote down monks while I was watching it, hoping that I was not using the incorrect term, but they are credited as Monk Brenda and Monk something else or something like that. A lot of monks die, and I have my qualms about them saying that they're a clan of monks from somewhere in China because they all have the most American accents of anyone on the plane.
Which one were those?
All of the people in the dojo suits, who fought with the chains and did all the martial arts and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, she speaks so American.
All three of the women that look like they're from a Godzilla film.
They do not speak like it at all.
No.
And they're like, she's from this mountain range in this part of the world, and they were eternally grateful and offered to protect me.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, she's like, yo, what's up? I'm here. I've been doing this monk thing for a long time. What you want? Like, I'm tired. It's
okay. So here's the best. This is another gag too that I laughed at because I had to ask Jessica, but it was so funny when I was clarified on this. So the people that end up killing like the pilot were Mormons.
Yeah. The Mormons are panicking, and the pilot freaks out and it opens the door for some reason, and they jump in there, and then one of the pilots tries to get them out of the cockpit with a flare gun, shoots it bounces around, hits himself in the head, and then they just come out later, they're holding the Holy Bible they just beat a man to death with, and they're like, somebody killed the pilot. And Josh Hartnett just kind of goes, brr.
Yeah, well, me.
It's so stupid. Oh, my goodness. One thing that annoys me about this is, okay, it's not about the movie. This is just kind of a general thing I keep seeing. Okay. Almost every action movie that we have looked at has some little undercurrent or mention of human trafficking.
Yeah, because Sound of Freedom like really gaslit that.
I suppose, but like, why is it always just it's just a subplot point? Like, it's never even the point of what they're doing. It's just like, we just throw it in there to acknowledge it, and it's like, can we do something about this?
Working Man, that's what it was too.
Right? Yeah, and I'm not annoyed with the movies. I'm annoyed with the world. Stop human trafficking people.
Well, it's,
you
get one thing that's really popular, and then you just keep putting it until it gets to like you're beating a dead horse at this point.
I know, but it's not that I want us to stop talking about it. It's that I want something to be done.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I freaking hate this world sometimes. Like I not the people. I want the best for the people. I hate the sin and villainy and dire, awful things that are going on in this movie. Also, is toad venom actually a thing? We talked about that, right?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay, so that's, again, more debauchery. Why are toads allowed to do this? God, we got some questions.
And then why was even a chainsaw allowed in the cargo hold of the plane? Like, how did that get through TSA?
That's the thing, though, is you check it before you go through customs or
that's
through the
still
thing. You can fly weapons. People go on hunting trips and fly their guns. They just cannot be in your carry-on.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people who like go on, African safaris and stuff. The kind of people who have bathrooms the size of my house, you can check a gun into something. You have to have all of the all of the magazines removed. If it's got a bolt, you have to remove that. Like, it can't be operational. But yeah, you can ship dangerous things via air.
Well, but here's the other thing to that. Okay, you got me on that, but that chainsaw was fully gassed up as well.
Why did it have gasoline? Why wasn't it electric? Out of all the things that they could, because it would have been quiet. I mean, I get you want the...
No, electric chainsaws are noisy as well.
Yes, but not nearly as, I don't... It wasn't the noise thing. I think what I was saying is, why would you want a chainsaw in your movie that has to be run on gasoline, where you then ask that question, instead of one that just says, electric on the side?
It wasn't very loud.
No.
So whoever dubbed that in did a horrible job.
The audio levels of everything on this plane are about 60 decibels lower than they should be, because planes are freaking loud when you're in the air.
Maybe Max should take an example from this.
It's just and yeah, the chainsaw is not very loud. Gunshots are not very loud. They don't. You know me. I love a good gunshot sound.
Yeah.
And this one just kind of pew 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 pew. Yeah, I don't know.
Or even when half the plane gets sucked away.
Yeah, and we lose another Wilhelm brother. He's going out like, ah!
Well, and honestly, everybody should have been sucked out the side of that plane at that point too.
Right? Yeah.
But I'm not looking for realism in this film. I'm not trying to pick on that.
No,
it's just the sheer just absurdity of how that scene looks.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
But this is way more fun than watching that Taron Egerton, Die Hard ripoff. It's more fun than any of that. Yeah, Carry On, that one. I can never remember the name. And then Bargain Bin Legolas, he gets shot in the back of the head. He just dies. And it's just like, oh, okay, that's not a problem anymore. And then turns out the ghost is actually just a woman with a heart of gold who was in human trafficking and was used to commit atrocities, and she wants to go and tear down the whole system. And Josh Hartnett's like, sounds like beating up a prostitute to me. Let's do it. I mean, beating up a guy who beats up a prostitute. I had that wrong. But you get what I say.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Now, if only I knew what I was saying, then we'd be so many steps ahead. Yeah, I do wonder, just from a production standpoint, if this movie was all the lighting you see looks like it's pretty much just ambient lighting. It's not a completely flat looking movie, but I feel like they lit the cabin to work as the lighting, and it's probably not as heavy on the shot-to-shot lighting that you might see in some other movies.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying they didn't do any, because there's definitely, they're augmenting the light and all that stuff. But it feels like, especially for these fight scenes, they were like, how can we light the whole area so that we don't have to worry about stands and stuff? Because you're in an airplane cabin. So it's like, where are you going to put everything? I also think that they set a good portion of the movie at night where people would have their windows closed while they slept, so that they wouldn't have to green screen in the sky.
Yeah, well, how about the whole scene at the beginning of the film too? Like, it's blistering broad daylight, when he gets into that cab.
Yep.
When he gets at the airport, it is pitch black night.
Yes.
So
isn't it wonderful?
The
how time just, he has less than an hour to get there, Andy, but the sun will set in 30 seconds.
Well, I figured, you're right. They didn't want to do green screens, and the other thing is they had to make do with the set that they had.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, to be fair, it sounds like we're being harsher on this than maybe I really feel about it. Like, it's fine. It's fine, and there's dumb stuff, and realism is not the point.
No.
But if you're just wanting a rock and roll kind of ride, and then randomly a lady to stand up with cat eyes who's inconsequential in almost every single way, shape, and form, except for that she kills one of the air marshals. If you want to see a guy get his head impaled on a sprinkler,
or watch Josh Hartnett get his nuts squeezed several times in one sequence.
Yep. It just keeps going. She does it so many times, and then it squeaks, and it's just fascinating. And if you want to see someone make fun of
Mormons,
hashtag whatever the F day, and getting participation trophies handed out.
Oh yeah.
So Brunt and Discount Luke Evans are out there, and they're having this super serious conversation about how he's set this up so they can finally, they can be the richest people in the world, and blah 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 blah. And she's like, all right, fine, I'll join up with you. And then it's like a bunch of people doing yoga, and she just calls them pansies or something.
Yeah.
Must be hashtag whatever the F day. It's just like, okay, sure, why not? That's fine. So yeah, this is an insane movie.
Yeah, and then when I was in Vegas, I met with the people from Vertical Entertainment too, because this is one of the few films they have come. But this was the one that they were really banking on, like big success, and listening to them talk.
Banking on?
Yeah.
Was that a flight pun, Andy?
No.
I think I caught you in a flight pun.
Not really, but I'll take it. But listen to them talk. Like, that was kind of the other reason why I booked it, because I remember the conversation I had with them. They were excited for this, and I was like, okay. And it worked out with being a flexible show schedule with, the UFC fight this weekend and kind of filling in holes here and there in the show schedule. So I was like, yeah, let's go for this one. The trailer really didn't look that bad until you actually see the entire film.
Yeah. It's an incredible mess.
And it's the longest hour and a half ever.
Is it only an hour and a half?
The whole runtime
97 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it seemed like it was a 2-hour movie.
Okay, I have a serious question for you that's going to sound like a joke. This movie, which has 19 different production companies I've never heard of, has one of the highest record of F-bombs of movies we've seen this year, probably, and it's using them for no reason. An incredible amount of blood. I mean, just like giving Sinners a run for its money. Not quite there, but getting close. Has the beating of prostitutes, has the implication of lots of other sort of like nefarious dealings, death, blood, human trafficking, child labor, all of these things. How is this a movie produced by a company called Chicken Soup for the Soul?
Yeah. Which both of us laughed at when that came on screen.
I literally out loud went, what?
Well, I almost, like, all those production companies at the beginning, I thought that was a joke in itself. I was like, really? This was...
Right.
What, did everybody just give $10,000 until they got enough for...
What? They'll throw their name on it if I give them some pocket change? All right, that's fine.
But
for a moment, when it said Vertical Entertainment, I was like, please don't tell me this is a Vertical movie. For a second, I had an actual thought that this might be a TikTok-ready film.
It might as well have been.
It might as well be, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, it's got a box office so far of $931,000, so this is not doing hot.
Yeah.
We're recording on Friday, so that'd be a Thursday night gross.
The even funnier thing is it doesn't have a whole lot of competition this weekend. No. Shadow
Thunderbolts
Force
is still doing a lot of business.
Right.
But
Shadow Force was the big release this week that we passed on. Just because
why would you want a force that's not G-Force?
Okay.
The disappointment in your eyes. I live for it.
Yeah. Never mind. And then the other release this week was Clown in a Cornfield too. So.
Yes, I do want to see Clown in a Cornfield. I wasn't interested at all
until I told you,
and he told me it's Tucker and Dale versus Evil Director, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm in. Yeah, I'm in for that. So. Oh boy. Oh, right. So at the end, Lucas passes out from his wounds in this movie after they have this moment where he says, "You saved me too." It's not earned in any way. The music tries to trick you, but it didn't get me this time. You didn't get me, movie. You didn't earn that. Then he wakes up in a war-torn country somewhere, and this teases a sequel to this movie, which we will never see.
Yeah.
We are more likely to get Horizons Part 5 than we are to see Flight 2.
Forget Part 5. Maybe Part 2.
Well, I know, yeah, but Part 5 isn't even on the books. There's no way it's ever going to happen.
Yeah, there's no way there's going to be a Fighter Flight 2.
Yeah, this is... also trying to have an emotional moment when you're high on frog spit, like you can't try and push that on me.
Although I don't put it past Netflix to pick up and do a sequel.
I would not be surprised
because this is something that really should have just been on Netflix.
Yeah. Although, you know what? I will say this. As much as this is a watch it at home and kind of movie, like I had fun in the theater with it.
We did.
So
it would have been better if we were the only ones in there. We really could have ripped that thing apart.
Oh, yeah. We might need to start, like, when there's a movie coming out like this, we might just need to start going, like, I'll meet you at the theater at 6 a.m. We're just going to do a private screening.
Yeah.
We'll share a bucket of popcorn and laugh our butts off.
Yeah.
My favorite country, Djibouti, got a call out, and I just wanted to. I have it written down. LOL ball grab. Why did his penis squeak? Djibouti got a call out. Those are my 3 notes back to back. So, okay, all right. Bad.
I think that's all that needs to be said about this.
Okay, well, let's jump into the news then.
Yeah.
Where do we start? Godzilla X Kong. Has a new title. It's called Supernova, and the. I'm not going to lie, the logo to this looks like they have completely lost their minds, gone off the rails. It's like full 80s font sort of stuff. Like they are embracing the fact that it's stupid more than they ever have. And it was pretty stupid last time.
Yeah, but we're going to be there opening weekend for the next one.
Because we're cursed to do this until we die. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Drew's already like salivating.
Oh, I'm sure he is. Yeah. Deadline says that it's described as a continuation of the franchise. Whoa, Deadline, breaking the headlines. My gosh, really coming in clutch with the...
we don't know.
Wow, what an extreme exclusive, Deadline. You useless journalists are just pointless.
I thought it was going to be Ghidra.
Ghidra. Okay, so it's focusing on Godzilla, Kong, and an assortment of other titans. Now, is this surprising to you at all?
No.
What about if I told you it would feature several new human characters alongside Godzilla and Kong as they face off against, what do you think?
Mercenaries?
No, a cataclysmic world-ending event. Like every time.
Does it matter?
No. So this one has Caitlin Dever, who is Abby in The Last of Us, and she was the youngest daughter on Last Man Standing. Jack O'Connell, who's supposed to be playing Dever's brother. Delroy Lindo is going to be in this, so that'll be fun.
Paycheck.
Matthew Modine is in this.
Paycheck.
Right. Yep. And Dan Stevens reprising the role of the Titan veterinarian trapper, which was the worst part of Godzilla vs. Kong: The New Empire.
Yeah,
what a dumb movie.
Get the worst actor and bring him back for the sequel. That's great.
But we get Delroy Lindo,
who's probably only going to be in it for like 15 minutes, and he probably gets killed.
Yeah, but it's going to be a wonderful 15 minutes.
Do we want to take bets on that now?
Yeah, he's definitely dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be the one who has like the Do you remember when there was Godzilla King of the Monsters and it was Kyle Chandler and there was emotion and stuff?
Yeah.
That was a different time.
That's the one where they kept pronouncing Ghidra as Ghidorah.
Yeah.
And kept driving me nuts.
Well,
because I was like, did nobody do their homework on this and watch those 70s movies that I grew up on?
No. Why would they do that? They're making it for an American audience.
Idiot. Or even at least watch Godzilla 1985.
Just not 1999.
No, stay Jurassic Park Part
anything
5. Yeah. That's generally what that film turns into.
I would rather watch a bunch of raptors talking to Alan on an airplane for 4 hours than watch Godzilla 1999 ever again. So, okay, Night Court's been canceled. Did you care about that?
No.
What about Suits LA?
No.
Also canceled.
Yeah, no, I read that today.
Yeah. What about The Irrational? You ever heard of that?
Nope.
Well, it got canceled.
Neither did anybody else. That's why it got canceled.
They also canceled Lopez versus Lopez, the working class family comedy starring real life father and daughter duo George Lopez and Mayan Lopez.
I watched the first season of that.
How was that?
It was fun.
Well, it's canceled. So no more fun for you.
Yeah.
They also shelved Found, and I just wanted to point out that NBC has canceled basically their entire lineup. So good luck to them. Thunderbolts has smashed past $100 million as of today for the Friday. So it's estimated for $30 million second take at the box office, second weekend take, I should say. It's doing pretty good.
Considering it has no competition this weekend at all.
Yeah, but Sinners has continued to get money. It's $46.6 million in its third week, which is not as much of a fall off as I would have. It's not as much as I would have expected.
Everything needs to fall off next weekend here.
Yeah, there's new stuff coming. Everyone's got to go. Clown in a Cornfield did 600,000 in previews, so that's something.
It did less than Fight or Flight did
on Thursday night. Yeah. And Lionsgate Shadow Forced is looking at $3 to $4 million at over 2,000 theaters after $200,000 in previews. So not great for Shadow Force.
No, but better than the other two offerings. So it was like the best of the losers this weekend.
Yes. Yeah. Now we know about that. Harmonia. Yeah. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay, so this is a movie it's a cult thriller. Basically, it's set in the 1980s. I love a period piece. No cell phones. I love that. Means that the stuff can happen without cell phones ruining everything.
Right.
So it's going to star Carrie Coon, who was from Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. I actually like her.
Yeah, I do too.
Lily James as well, who I love Lily James, and she's not in enough stuff. She was Baby Driver. She was the main love interest in that. She was Cinderella.
Yeah.
I love her. Bella Ramsey, who I don't really care that much about. And then Odessa Young, who I
never saw Cinderella, the live action one.
I never did either, but she was so charming in Baby Driver that I just immediately was like, I love this person. Like, I would love to be around them. Now that means it was probably an act because she's an actress, but I choose to believe what I want to believe. This one is going to be directed by Guy Nativ, who directed Golda. And happens to be based on Nativ's own grandmother's experience with an insidious cult. Oh. So, written by Nativ and Noah Berman Herzberg, Harmonia is set in the 1980s, and Rita, who's Carrie Coon, unraveling from past wounds, meets a radiant young spiritual leader after a chance encounter. Following her into the all-female commune known as Harmonia, Rita leaves her life and family behind until her daughters, Ella, played by Ramsey, and Joe, played by Young, embark on a dangerous journey to rescue their mother. Once immersed in the commune, they find themselves inexorably drawn into the leader's labyrinthian web of pseudo-spiritual and psychological manipulation. So
it's called Scientology.
No, actually, Scientology lets men in. Yeah, it's basically Scientology, except all women.
There's the trailer dropped this week too for another film that I think just Ethan Coen is behind called Honey Don't.
Yes,
that looks and sounds almost very similar to the movie you just described.
Yes, yeah. The question is who will do it better, and which one will have Carrie Coon? But
the other one with the Coen brother has Megan Qualley in it. So
it does have Megan Qualley. It also has Aubrey Plaza, which has made me immediately go, I really don't even want to sit down and watch this.
Yeah,
I'm so sick of Aubrey Plaza.
I'm
sick of her.
I
like Margaret Qualley too, but I also don't. I just don't need to see this. I don't know why, but it just was like that's enough.
Although
I don't need it.
It's the same crew that put together Drive Away Dolls that I absolutely hated.
Maybe you'll hate this too.
Yeah, but I at least want to watch and find out.
Sure. Yeah.
Just like, so did you read the story about Megaopolis never coming on streaming or home video?
I actually do have that. I have that pulled up here.
Francis Ford Coppola, you freaking nutbag.
He's such a weirdo.
Go back to making wine there, Kopi.
So he said he's disinterested in ever having it be seen on a TV, computer, or iPhone. As stated, instead of a digital release, Coppola is taking the film on tour. Days after the AFI tribute, he boarded a flight to Boston for a sold-out screening at the Coolidge Theater.
Only because he was showing up.
Yeah. Later this month, he's headed to Detroit, which is never a place you should go.
Well, considering the city's bankrupt.
Yeah. And also considering everything else about Detroit.
Yeah.
Do you know why RoboCop is set there? Because it's a
bad
barely livable place.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Look, Francis Ford Coppola is a kook, and I love him. I would like to see this movie with him, just to see what kind of cockamamie explanation he has for what he was doing.
Well, I guess we're never going to watch it in my backyard or anything because it's not going to stream.
Maybe if we tell him that we're not going to watch it on an iPhone.
Well, I wasn't planning on watching it on
exactly. So that's what he doesn't want. He doesn't want it seen on streaming or whatever. Like, no, you fly out a 70 millimeter print. We'll dig out something and play it in our backyard.
So I guess the whole gag with Adam Driver walking up to the screen and everything, dude, doesn't really work on small screens like that.
You have a little less than postage stamp sized Adam Driver talking to you out of the corner of the screen. That's funny.
It is.
I also love the idea that sometimes he's sitting there and swapping in shots while the film is going. That's insane. That is absolute crazy stuff. Oh.
And I think beside Joker last year, that was probably another one of the biggest flops of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's infinitely more fascinating because Joker is just a man smelling his own farts for $250 million and going, don't I smell wonderful? Megalopolis is a guy going, I don't know if that's my farts, your farts, or whatever, but put those farts in a bottle and let's see what we can get away with.
We almost played it here, too.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I can't tell if we missed out or got spared, honestly.
I think we got spared.
Maybe, but also imagine being able to say that we've seen it.
I don't know if it's almost like a badge of honor.
Look, if it's not a badge of honor, it is at the very least would be a badge, and I'd kill to just be known for anything at this point. You know, I'm attention hungry, Andy. That's why I do this show.
Yeah, we know.
It's not because I love talking to you about movies.
Thanks a lot.
Sorry, Black Mirror.
I've never seen that show.
I never have either. I know the first episode has a man. Having relations with a pig is some part of some political commentary. I don't know. But anyway, a couple years ago, they did this thing called Bandersnatch. And Netflix did this, and they also did the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt versus the Reverend, I think. And they each were choose-your-own-adventure style interactive movies.
Yeah, I remember that was kind of a thing for about a millisecond.
Yeah, and they pushed this really hard, and now they're taking them away. You cannot watch them anymore. Netflix has said, hi, I'm Ted Sarandos, and I choose what you get to keep.
Yeah, this is a guy that said the movie theater experience is going away.
Yeah, while everything he does to try and enhance the movie theater experience makes it worse.
Meanwhile, this Memorial Day weekend coming up in a couple weeks is supposed to be the biggest on record coming up.
I really hope that he literally gets egg thrown on his face. Because he deserves to have some egg on his face.
I'll buy a carton, even though we're paying $10 for a dozen of eggs.
That's right.
I will buy it just so I can do it.
I'll get the grade A ostrich eggs, my friend. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Find
fun
out
on the
where
bun.
that goof lives.
Well, the Black Mirror Bandersnatch, it has 312 minutes of material. That's 5 hours of this movie that you can explore and find. Or you could have, not anymore. So you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Netflix decides what you deserve, even if you've paid for it. Rebecca Hall's going to star in a zombie film. Do you care about that?
I do like Rebecca Hall.
I am neither here nor there on Rebecca Hall at this point. I think she's fine, but I also don't care that much.
I like The Town.
I do need to see The Town.
That she did with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
She's really good in that. Not Godzilla versus Kong. That's not a good example.
Real bad.
There's another kind of spy movie too called Closed Circuit that she was in that I think British film that I thought was really good.
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, that one's pretty decent.
This one is called Zero Protocol, and it's scripted by Dan Hall, who did the Silent Hour. Which I also haven't seen. But it's a New York Police Department commissioner battles to manage a citywide zombie outbreak exploding in real time, only to discover that her teenage daughter is trapped in the middle of the red zone. Now, do you think the red zone is the worst zone, or like is the outside of the zone? Like, is the black zone the worst, or is it green? Would green zone be the worst because zombies, because their flesh is rotting?
I don't know.
Do people turn green when they bloat up and die?
No.
Why is that what color zombies are in all the comics then?
No, I don't know.
Andy, I brought you on here because you're an expert. I need you to know this.
Yeah, but the Romero zombies from like the 70s and 80s that I was a part of in Pittsburgh, they were not green.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it really is more comics and like illustrations that you see the green skin.
But it sets up 28 years later, which I'm looking forward to next month.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. I still need to see those other two. Oh, goodness.
I have those.
So, I may need to borrow them if that's okay.
I did. I have them on digital.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I may need to borrow your house.
Okay.
I'll just kick you out, watch the movies, and let you go. So the director of this is Des Patterson, who's done a whole lot of TV work. This is all according to Joe Blow, by the way. I stole the news from there, whatever. Yeah. And directed episodes of Doc, Halo, Willow, The Bastard Son and the Devil Himself, Discovery of Witches, Domina, For Life, Harlots, and Strike Back. She was also at the helm of the documentary The Skywalker Legacy. Now it's been announced that she's going to make her second narrative feature film after doing Africa United in 2010. And that's all we know about it at the moment. So,
okay.
I don't care.
On to the next one.
Yep. Ringo Starr wanted Barry Keoghan to play the drums for him when he got cast as Ringo Starr.
Is one of the that's another... Everybody was like standing ovation for that in Vegas when Sony announced that, but it was like, yeah, but honestly, for smaller theaters like us, that's going to take up like 3/4 of our screens with one film.
You're only playing all 4 of those in a megaplex.
Right.
And even then, no one cares. I'm sorry.
Or how are they going to for smaller theaters? How really are they going to rotate that?
They're not going to. They're just going to have to say like, yeah, it's in places that have 16 screens and that's it.
Or is there one that people are like? Obviously, the more popular ones I think out of that is definitely going to be the Paul McCartney one, and probably the not the Ringo Starr, George
no one
Harrison,
cares about Ringo Starr.
The John Lennon one.
The John Lennon, yeah.
So it's going to be those two that everybody's going to want to watch. So somebody like me, if I get to pick those are probably the 2 that I'm going to pick.
Right, yeah. And do you have time to sit through 2 more of Beatles members you don't care about? No.
Harrison, I would want to see something outside of the Beatles.
Sure.
And like even when he had a resurgence in the 80s, I would love to see either a documentary or a film about that. But Ringo Starr,
yeah, that's how everyone feels. Even I know that, and I don't even care about the Beatles.
And he's McCartney's still alive, so he's not the only living one.
Yeah. Well, Keoghan said that Ringo Starr asked him to play the drums for him, but he refused. So, coward.
Then he should not have been casted.
Maybe so. I mean, he wouldn't play in front of him because he was nervous. But anyway.
No.
How do you feel about the Thunderbolts director helming the next X-Men movie for Marvel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't be any worse than these other ones.
No.
Because, like, honestly, the last couple, like, I didn't see Dark Phoenix because I had heard nothing but bad things about it. And Apocalypse, I did sit through, unfortunately, and I hated it.
It was bad.
So I think actually the last good X-Men movie was probably First Class.
Yes, I like First Class a lot.
First Class I thought was really good.
Logan's fantastic.
Logan's good, but that's kind of almost just a standalone. It's not really an X-Men film.
Yeah, I mean, and I know it gets a lot of crap, but I actually really enjoy the Wolverine, the one that was set in Japan. I
hate that one.
I understand why. I do, but there's just enough, like that fight on the train. It's got stuff in it that I like.
I get that, but if you've read that limited 4-issue series, it's not even close to like what that film turned into, and I really hate it.
I did go and read it after I watched the movie.
Oh, okay.
So I had I enjoyed the movie on its own and was like, oh, thank God this isn't X-Men Origins Wolverine again. Which is, I think, fair enough to say that it's worse. But also that scene where they're fighting through all the different wars at the beginning of Origins is actually pretty good. But yeah, it's not a good movie. I do like it though. But yeah,
okay.
The first class is probably the last good one. I didn't bother with Dark Phoenix.
No. First Class and Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past I really liked too.
I can't remember how I felt about that one.
I
think it was just kind of like, it kind of just went, okay. And then I saw Apocalypse and was like, I don't care about these anymore.
That's kind of what I was excited for Apocalypse until I sat through it. And I was like, what a waste of time.
What a waste of Apocalypse too. Like, that's what you did?
But if you're
we have a big a pyramid. Duh.
If you're going to do Dark Phoenix too, why not bring back Famke Janssen for that and not... so there was just too much.
Is it the same timeline?
I don't know.
I feel like it's supposed to be because Logan's the same through all of them.
Well, because it's Hugh Jackman.
Right, but like that implies it's the same timeline. So did they go through the Dark Phoenix thing twice?
I guess.
And how did Logan know all of these people back then if he... it doesn't make any sense.
I knew Last Stand was in trouble when Brett Ratner came out and said that he had never read a comic book in his life, but yet he was going to do the X-Men film. And I was like... Danger, Robinson.
Yeah. But we did get I'm the Juggernaut. So
that's the only good thing out of that.
Actually, it is, yeah. But no, I'd like to see an X-Men movie.
Yeah,
in the same vein, maybe. Also, I learned that Thunderbolts, the reason that the void effect really got me, and the intention behind it was it's meant to echo the shadows left behind at Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, yes, that is the imagery it evokes. Very well done. Love
yes.
it. Spider-Man, Brand New Day, has a new person cast. It is Lisa Colon-Zayas, I believe is how it's pronounced. She is in The Bear, which I have not seen. Have you seen The Bear?
Oh, I love that show.
Okay, so
Jeremy Allen White is the lead on that.
Yeah, so this is Lisa is I guess she's middle-aged, kind of middle-aged black woman.
Who is she in The Bear?
I don't know, but I know that this is her face, and I'm showing it to you now.
Okay, yeah, she's a good. Everybody on The Bear is really good. The guy that is in Fantastic Four is Ben Grimm, the new one coming out.
Yeah,
he's from The Bear, and I really liked him in that. He's the kind of the idiot brother of Jeremy Allen White. I hope I'm getting that name right because I could never remember that kid's name.
No, I think you had that one right.
Because he's got the Springsteen movie coming out that I want to see.
Is he Springsteen?
Yeah.
That's right.
I do want to see that.
Well, would you like to know who Lisa Colon-Zayas is playing?
Sure.
Everyone else would like to know as well. They haven't told us.
Oh.
Benedict Wong joins Jacob Elordi, Margaret Qualley, Josh Brolin, and Guy Pearce for Ridley Scott's movie The Dog Stars.
Okay.
This sounds like a great cast.
Yeah, it does. It's Ridley Scott, so...
It's based on the 2012 novel by Peter Heller, who wrote Burn, The River, The Painter, The Last Ranger. Originally, Scott was reteaming with Gladiator 2-star Paul Mescal for The Dog Stars, but scheduling conflicts with his part in Sam Mendes' Beatles anthology kept him from participating.
Yeah.
He's playing Paul McCartney. I don't care. The synopsis for the novel is... Higgs' wife is gone, his friends are dead, and he lives in the hangar of a small abandoned airport with his dog, Jasper, and a mercurial gun-toting misanthrope named Bangley. Bangley? But when a random transmission beams through the radio of his 1956 Cessna, a voice ignites a hope deep inside him that a better life exists outside their tightly controlled perimeter. Risking everything, he flies past his point of no return and follows its static broken trail, only to find that it is both better and worse than anything he could ever hoped for.
I'm already sold. Yeah.
I like this idea.
Yep.
Yeah. Ridley Scott knows how to make a movie.
Yeah.
I know that's a hot take.
Especially sci-fi.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, that sounds like what that is. It almost sounds like A Boy and His Dog.
Yeah, kind of.
From the 70s. That was Don Johnson's first big role.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen that.
That's kind of, a 70s psychedelic sci-fi film.
Huh.
That and Barbarella came out close to the same time, too.
I remember Barbarella.
Yeah.
David S. Goyer, he's a writer. How do you feel about him? Good, bad, in the between. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not.
How do you feel about his writing on the Blade movies?
I guess it's okay.
Because he's telling Marvel, hey, when you want to get your head on straight about getting a Blade movie done, give me a call.
That's probably then hire him.
Yeah, just get anyone to make this movie actually happen.
And I still say bring Wesley back. Mashallah Ali is actually good casting for that, and I agree. But Ever since Deadpool Wolverine and that whole scene with him and that, I'm the only Blade.
There's only one Blade. There's only ever going to be one Blade.
Thank you. So bring him. I guarantee if they did that, it doesn't even matter if the story's bad. People will show up for it.
Right? Yeah, because it's just. Look, we're idiots. The audience is stupid.
Right.
We're full of. It's just a theater full of morons who all want to see the same thing they saw before and get their comfort food and then go home and fall asleep with their popcorn still stuck in their teeth. Give us Blade.
Yes.
Anyway, it's going to be bad no matter what. Andy Serkis has a movie called Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. Now has a December 2027 release date.
Yeah.
So if you were looking forward to that happening soon, too bad the world will end before then.
Well, because there were rumors that it was coming out like this December, and then it was January, and then I was like, nah, that's going to take some time.
We got almost 2. Well, we have a year and a half to wait.
Well, because we're halfway through. The VFX stuff for that is going to take about a year alone.
Oh, sure, yeah. Although, I mean, just the amount of advancement that's been made in their ability to like when we saw here. The fact that they could live preview de-aging on set is crazy. And so there's so much stuff that does speed that up. But also, there's this duality to any sort of technological advance with those things. We can do what we used to do faster, but that's not good enough now.
Right.
So what can we do in the same amount of time that's better?
Right.
And so, I'm interested to see how good Gollum looks in these. So.
At least people will go see it rather than The War for Hiram, which nobody went to see.
Yeah, but I heard was good.
That's what everybody keep telling me, but I still haven't. I've yet to sit down and watch it. I do want to see it. I wanted to see it when we played it.
Me too.
The problem is nobody else did,
right?
And it didn't last because that is an interesting story behind that. Is initially when we signed on to play that, it was supposed to be 3 weeks, and then it just bombed so badly the opening weekend that even Warner Brothers was like, yeah, whenever you want to pull that, go right ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's kicking the pants.
Yeah, because even after those weekend grosses, they were like,
And that's too bad because it does look like a work of art.
Yeah.
It really does. Speaking of works of art, Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Not the third one, though. So Karate Kid Legends is coming out, and it has the shortest runtime in the series.
95 minutes.
95. This one says 94 on Jumbo.
I was surprised because the initial stuff that we were seeing was going to be like 2 hours, hour 50. And then when we got the on-sale notification, which tickets go on sale, I think, next Wednesday.
Okay.
So I already have showtimes and everything mapped out for that.
Sweet.
And I was just kind of waiting for something to come along and say, nope, it's not 95 minutes, it's longer. But yeah, it seems like it's sticking with it. So I'm kind of happy.
And I think that's good for a summer movie to have like a fun one that's like, like your teenagers and stuff.
I'm still going to make you sit through it though, too, because I really want to see it.
Well, I actually read something in this article that made me more interested. So the director, Jonathan Entwistle, which is a fantastic name, Entwistle, there's an Ent there. That's fantastic.
Well, that was one of the original basis for The Who was Entwistle.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
It's a great name. I love it. Anyway, he said that Ben Wang, who was the stunt coordinator, was fully training every day with the Chinese stunt team. He knew I wanted the martial arts in the movie to feel like an early Jackie Chan film. Right. And that's something we tried really hard to do. We used a lot of classic Hong Kong wire work, and that's always fun. I love that stuff. And so, but also...
The trailer does look good.
It looks fine to me. I don't know why. I just don't have like a sentimental attachment to this franchise.
Yeah, but then I showed you the popcorn bucket last night that we're going to...
popcorn bucket is great. Are we allowed to spoil that, or should we?
Yeah,
should we
no. We can...
You can literally chop a board in half in the popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's really cool.
I love that stuff. Yeah. Be goofy with popcorn buckets, but not so goofy that Deadpool makes a joke about it. That's the thing. So David Zucker, who was he co-wrote the original Naked Gun trilogy, and he directed the first two, not to mention creating the Police Squad series. Again, taking all this from Joe Blow.
The new one.
He said, I read the script, and I politely told them I wasn't going to put my name on it. They wanted nothing from me except my name. They assume I'm old and using a walker, and I can't do it anymore. I guess talent leaves after age 40 in Hollywood, which is a ridiculous thing to say. It's only women's talent that leaves after age 40 in Hollywood.
Well, the other thing that I read is they screened it for him, and he hated it.
Yeah, he basically just says it's awful garbage.
He had nothing nice to say about it at all.
Yeah.
I still want to see it, though.
I do, too.
Like,
I'm not expecting the original Naked Gun.
No, but I think the story that they're coming up with is the right track to go. Is that it's Frank Drebin's son, that it's just another incompetent cop, and everybody's it's a new spoof.
Yeah.
So,
and I think you can't spoof in the same way that you did when the Naked Gun movies were made. As much as I would love for movies to return to that form, there's just...
And I still say that's why Mel Brooks can't do a film anymore. Yeah. And not to mention that he's in his 90s, but...
Well, and everyone knows talent leaves after 40 in Hollywood.
Well, I don't think so with him, but the climate is so PC that he could not make a film like the way that he used to.
Yeah, and the thing is, when we say PC, we're not just talking about the... everyone on every side is tightened up somehow. No one can laugh at anything. And I know I'm the square of this show, so it's ironic that I'm saying that. But it's such.
Could you imagine if they tried to do Blazing Saddles now?
Oh my gosh. Mel Brooks would be shot in the street.
But they actually...
by a white guy who's just trying to virtue signal.
So they actually did as a kid's film called Paws of Fury.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And that has one of the shortest runs at Grand Avenue Theater. That was before I came on board.
How long did it run?
A week.
Oh my gosh.
And just about every other theater that had it too. It was the shortest, nobody went to see it.
Wow. That's bad. That's real bad. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You want to know something else that's really bad?
What?
Netflix introduces a redesign that uses OpenAI and TikTok-esque feed. So, it's our Eunice Kim, who serves as Netflix's chief product officer. It's not Ted Sarandos this time talking.
Okay.
Explained, our current TV experience was built for streaming shows and movies. This one is designed to give us a more flexible canvas now and in the future. We are always going to keep sight of what we think is the best experience for our members, particularly driving discovery and engagement with all the movies and shows and live events and games that they love. And we believe that the improvements to the member experience will ultimately drive lots of great outcomes for us as well. If you're trying to say that you are looking for the best experience for people to engage with your movies, while another one of your executives strategically tells everyone who writes a script for Netflix to make it so that it is easier for people to not engage with the content, your head is so full of crap that I could squeeze you out over a garden and grow the biggest gosh darn watermelon this world has ever seen. I hate you all.
But then what's the sequel's coming out too, the Charlize Theron one that she did.
Oh yeah, I think the old guard is crap.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
I
was very disappointed with that.
All the headlines that are oh, people are going nuts over this movie that's awaited long sequel.
People are stupid.
I have long awaited all of you shutting down that production and stopping this crap. I'm so sick of this crap.
I will have to. There is something me and my wife discovered on Netflix that is actually really good, and
Little
I can't
Italy?
wait to what. No, it's a limited series called The Four Seasons. So. Mm-hmm. It's originally based on Alan Alda's film from the 80s that he initially did with Carol Burnett. He's actually he had a cameo in one of the episodes I've seen. And it's generally about four couples and going through the seasons of the year. Will Fort's in it, Tina Fey, Steve Carell. Has a really good cast. And
I have heard of this. Yeah.
It's extremely funny.
Okay, cool. I do like Will Forte.
And he's kind of a wuss.
Yeah, that's Will Forte. And
although I liked him in Strays.
I still haven't seen that.
Jessica absolutely hates that film, and I love it because one of the main characters is a talking Boston Terrier.
Is that one of the main sentences you say in your life? What? Jessica hates that film, but I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
That seems like one of those ones you just kind of pull out of your pocket twice a day. We're just going to need to print it on a card so you can just whip it out and put it on the table. It's and this is true.
Jessica and I are at very ends of the movie spectrum sometimes, but there is a lot of stuff that we do agree on. She actually liked Fight or Flight last night. She thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I thought she'd hate it.
Hannah got there halfway through. And
she still liked it.
She got up at the end. She goes, I had no idea what was going on. I loved it. I love that woman so much. Oh, goodness. All right.
Jessica's exact words were, at least it wasn't the monkey.
Yeah.
But I like the monkey.
I mean, I like the pool scene with the monkey a lot. Was that a foot?
Yeah.
The Golden Globes is adding a Best Podcast category. I only bring this up because I want people to vote for us.
We want us to nominate.
I just want one genuine write-in vote for us.
That'd be funny if we won.
That would be hilarious. Make it happen, everybody. You can leave a review, by the way, on iTunes and whatever.
I'll use that Golden Globe to prop up in my office door.
Yeah. I'll use it to hold up the computer so it doesn't overheat while I look through 1,700 Joe Blow articles.
Can I show up to the award ceremony with like a Slayer shirt and jeans?
Oh, absolutely. I would show up wearing a dunce cap. I just walk out there and go, I have no idea how this happened. It was completely undeserved, but the rest of you were wrong as well. So whatever. Okay, so Clayface. We talked about this.
Yeah, we've talked a couple of times
previously. It was being written by Mike Flanagan, but
which I was excited for because he's a good writer.
Yeah, but apparently there are rumors that have claimed that a potential page one rewrite is underway by Hossein Amini. Hossein Amini is best known for writing Nicholas Winding Refn's Drive and most recently several episodes of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which is fine at best.
Okay.
James Watkins, who directed Speak No Evil, will direct the movie, and it's going to be produced by Matt Reeves and Lynn Harris. Earlier this year, James Gunn explained that he never intended on making a Clayface movie in the DC universe, but Flanagan's script was too good to ignore. But now we're going to rewrite it. So that's something.
Okay.
I have no idea what's happening here, but the DC universe is falling apart already. I love it.
Well, it was already in pieces to begin with.
Well, I mean, they basically starting all the way over with Superman, but even after that now,
I think Superman will start to rebuild that. I still have faith that really is going to be the summer film.
Right, but what I'm saying is Clayface is part of that reboot.
Yeah.
So if that's already getting trashed while they're like, we have an amazing script, we're throwing it out. Like, you hired James Gunn to steer the ship, and now the ship is just in free fall into a cyclone. So what are you doing?
I still, going back to comic book films, I still wish somebody would do a sequel to Dredd with Carl Urban.
Yeah, people really love that. Sorry for kicking your foot.
Sorry, I'm one of them. I really liked it, but the problem is it was just such a failure at the box office.
Yeah.
That nobody wants to touch it.
Can Carl Urban carry a movie? I don't think he can for some reason.
He did with Dredd.
Well, no, I mean like box office wise. You know, like Carl Urban is not a draw, but he's in everything and he's always good.
Yeah.
You know, but like no one wants to see just Carl Urban. And I don't understand why.
Well, I guess because, I know he's part of The Boys.
Yeah, so he's one of the leads on The Boys.
I've never really watched it.
The Boys, I had to stop. I had to stop at a certain point because as well written sort of as it is, it's very on the nose social commentary stuff, and it thinks it's more clever than it is and stuff. But also, it's interesting.
I still think one of the. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll finish this thought. But it's so shocking for the point of being shocking and disgusting that at a certain point, I just looked at it and I was like, if Jesus was sitting next to me, I wouldn't keep watching this. And so I just turned it off.
So going to shocking and disgusting, we talked last night about Together. That's coming out in the beginning. Actually,
The Boys is worse.
Okay. The end of July now. It was supposed to be an August 1st release. I think it's coming out that Wednesday now.
Oh.
Instead of that Friday to get a jump on it. And I still really think this is going to be the film that it's going to be a big indie film. It's going to be a big art house film. And it's going to be the one that a lot of people are going to talk about when it comes out.
I think you are 100% correct. And
I really want to see it.
I just hope I can get past how much I don't know why, but I hate looking at Dave Franco's face. Maybe it's because he ruined season 9 of Scrubs.
I don't even think that's going to be I think just the whole subject matter thing is going to be hard for you.
Maybe, but I mean, if there's anything I want, it's to be slowly morphed into some sort of blob with my wife so I can know her thoughts without even having to ask her about them. Okay. So I love her. Maybe too much. Some would say maybe too much. The biggest love you've ever seen. It's huge.
All right? Hannah's cool. I like Hannah.
I love her so much. And Jessica is cool as well. I see why you fell for her.
She is.
So here's the last little bit of news I want to talk about.
Okay.
We're going to loop back around to Thunderbolts. And so first off, they have spoiled that the real title is not Thunderbolts in the marketing now. If you didn't see it in the first week, too bad, buddy. So it's actually spoilers. You can skip to the end if you want. It is actually the new Avengers. I love that there is now an actual copyright symbol on the Avengers Twitter account because Sam Wilson has copyrighted the Avengers, and they're doing some kind of like cross stuff with that, which is very fun. The one thing that was really kind of like shocking that they chose to do this, not because it really set up the stakes of the movie, but just because it was confusing why they brought her back, is they kill Taskmaster like so early on in the movie.
Right, within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, and she was originally going to have a much bigger kind of role in this, especially with her relationship with Captain America we have Captain America at Home. What's his name? John whatever. Anyway, so he was supposed to have a lot more interaction with her. The original script was written by Eric Pearson, and the character survived and had a much bigger role to play throughout the movie. But when he jumped ship to work on the script for Fantastic Four, he handed over script writing duties to Joanna Callow and didn't find out about the change until he watched the film's first cut. So originally, she was, she's struggling with memory loss stuff. There was a gag where she just kept restarting the fight and forgetting that they had made up and become friends with her and knockoff Captain America. They would be discussing a plan to get out of the vault, and she'd just go after him again, and they'd have to pig pile on each other and pull her off and be like, "No, we know each other. We've had this conversation before." I think that could have been really fun.
I do too.
I don't really know why they did this. Like It makes sense that they want you to think like any of these people can die, but also none of these people are going to die. We know that.
Right.
The only one who I thought really had a chance to die throughout the movie was the Red Guardian because he's too happy. But then I thought they wouldn't dare. And they didn't. They wouldn't.
Nah, David Harbour, I think that's one of the main reasons people are going to see it.
He's just got, if I may quote the kids, big dad energy, and it's perfect. I love that. But yeah, I think I would have liked to see there. Look, again, Taskmaster is basically a product of human trafficking and mind control and all these awful things, and she just gets shot in the head. And I don't know why. I don't care about like the characters in Marvel movies like I would care about the telling the story of a real person, but it just feels so disrespectful to this actress. Like, why even give her a line then? I mean, I guess she gets paid, so that's good thing they gave her a line, but why do this? I don't know.
So, yeah.
We're so good at commentary.
So, a couple of things I have off the top of my head. Lilo & Stitch is now one of the highest grossing pre-sales on Fandango.
Wow.
Couldn't tell that from what I was looking at our numbers.
Oh, really?
But I think
it'll probably be a lot of walk-ins, I imagine.
I think next Friday, I'm going to see those numbers start to skyrocket.
Yeah.
And
as
that's
people
we
have to make plans for summer because the kids are home.
The marketing campaign, I think, is just genius. Everything I see is Lilo & Stitch, but I don't get annoyed by it.
Yeah.
Like,
because he's adorable.
I think it was AMC that actually had the one with the robotic Stitch, like scanning people's tickets on the way into the theater. I thought that was great.
That's great. Yeah.
And then there's a couple ones where he's driving like the little pink car around like theater lobbies and getting into popcorn buckets. And
I love the posters of him just like chewing on lightsabers and stuff. Like there's one in every family. They say it's just him messing with all the other Disney properties. I love that.
Yeah. So that's Disney, I think, kind of learned their lesson from Snow White and is making a live action movie that people want to see.
Yes.
And they're not deviating, even though this one is 20 minutes longer than the original one. Yeah. I don't think it's going to mess with it too much that people are going to be annoyed by it.
Yeah, but I mean, they would have had to add some stuff because the original movie was made in the 2000s, and evidently so. Just kidding. No, Rachel Ziegler just sucks. I just wanted to bring it up because I hate that so much.
I refuse to watch Y2K because of her.
Me too. But I've heard that it's fine, and she's actually good at it. Yeah. But I just don't. No. I'm sorry, you just have annoyed me so much.
Right.
And I'm in a grumpy mood this week, and I probably in another week will be fine. But like, I can't justify her attitude towards a cartoon that did nothing to her.
Right.
Why is she so mad about it? Anyway, okay.
So, So we got the runtime for F1, which you and I are both excited about. It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Which I kind of expected. And I still say that's
Do you think it's an Oscar contender? Do you think it wants to be?
I think it wants to be, but the problem with Hollywood and when it gets to award season is summer fun movies like that, even if they're really, really good and are better than the usual fluff that comes out, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like summertime is the time for this kind of films. They overlook them because either they're too poppy, they're not socially commentaried enough, or whatever. Pick a reason.
Right, yeah.
And I think it'll be overlooked when it comes time for awards. I think if anything, it should be thought of automatically for sound mixing, sound editing, even from I've seen the first 10 minutes of the film.
Okay,
and I really like the first 10 minutes. Like I was looking up at the projection booth going, just roll the rest of it, please.
Don't stop. Let me know where the tires go.
Right, because it just looks amazing. And I can't wait for that. And like I said, I think
we're going to have to do
for
IMAX.
Opening weekend, I'm just going to buy IMAX tickets and we'll go and review it after that.
I think that would be fantastic. I would like to see this in IMAX.
And then I talked about it briefly. Like this Memorial Day weekend is going to be one for like record breaking. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning is looking to be huge. Lilo and Stitch, that's going to be huge. Even the Angel Studios film that we were booked, confirmed, and we have tickets on sale, The Last Rodeo, that looks really good. And it's based on a true story about a guy, and it's Neil McDonough. And I like him.
I do too.
And I like his politics. I like the fact that he won't do a sex scene in Hollywood and it got a blackballed.
And also, like, bald. But why was it so big a deal that he wouldn't do a sex scene? Why do we need to see Neil McDonough's butt?
Right.
I mean, I have no doubt it's a great butt, but I don't need to see it.
And the other things he's done for Angel Studios I've really liked.
Yeah.
Like
he played the devil, right?
Yeah, in The Shift, and he was in Homestead.
That's right.
I like too.
Yeah, I need to see those movies.
So it's he's an ex-rodeo rider that his farm is in trouble. So what he has to do is go back to the rodeo circuit to be at the big like Super Bowl of rodeos that year to win enough prize money to save the farm.
Nice.
So
that's a good old fashioned American tale right there.
Right. If you haven't seen the trailer, like look it up. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I give Angel Studios a lot of credit for making this kind of film.
Cool. All right.
And then Megan 2.0 has a runtime of almost 2 hours. And I don't understand why. I really thought that film would be like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's 119 minutes, which is 1 minute short of 2 hours.
My guest is flabberdandy. I don't know how else to put it.
I can't.
Why is it 2 hours long?
I don't get that either.
All right, make a prediction now. What do you think it will feel like 2 hours or feel like more than 2 hours?
It'll feel like 2 hours.
I think it's going to feel...
I think it's going to drag.
Yeah, I think it's going to feel like more than 2 hours.
But it still does look fun. Like, I do want to see it.
Sure, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be great. The problem, like, we're talking to our film buyer today, June already gets kind of jammed up when it gets even into, like, mid-month.
Yeah.
Because, we were talking about... We got confirmed for Ballerina for the first week of June, which that's 2 hours and 5 minutes long. And then after that is How to Train Your Dragon, 2 hours and 5 minutes long. And then after that is Elio and 28 years later.
Yeah.
And then after that is Megan and F1.
Why don't we start putting movies out in January and February? Spread it out, guys. Come on.
Universal has done that.
Yeah.
Universal has taken non-tentpole months and pumped out some, sometimes not the greatest film, but something that will do well at the box office to get people in the theaters. And I do give them credit for that.
Yeah.
And then, right after we go into F1 and Megan is Jurassic World Rebirth at the beginning of July. Yeah. So all that gets like super bottlenecked.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, well, do we really have to be a little more selective about what we pick and how many multiple prints can we do?
Right,
and
yeah.
There's so many logistics that go into that I don't think people realize.
Yeah.
Where it really like that's where my brain comes alive and trying to figure out showtimes and like, okay, how do I do payroll and how do I match schedules up with this? And that's just how my mind works.
Like a couple times a month, you have to just enter the matrix with Rob and figure out where everything's going to go.
And he already saw Ballerina and he said it's fantastic.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I need to watch 2 through 4 of John Wick.
Oh, yeah. So this, I think mainly you need to watch 3 because the story for Ballerina runs parallel to the 3rd film.
Okay, cool.
So that's where...
Is Ana de Armas in 3?
I don't remember her being in 3. I just remember Jessica hating it so much she almost walked out.
That other thing we need to put on a card so you can just put it on the table.
She doesn't like the John Wick universe, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is very much catered towards the same part of our brain that loves dinosaurs as young boys.
Yeah. So, this summer's just looking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exciting times ahead for the podcast, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And it's going to be like we had to figure out the other day how we were going to do Memorial Weekend, which you ignored me.
On accident.
Okay, audience, do you really feel that Garrett ignored me on accident? Or put it on Spotify or wherever.
Hit us up at Grand Review Pod. Do you think I ignore Andy on purpose? Or is it possible that it's not malice, it's stupidity that explains what happens?
Okay, I would kind of go for that. So I had to make an executive decision. So like that Thursday night, we're watching MI8.
Yes.
And then Friday, we're going to watch with all of our families Lilo and Stitch, and then probably do a mega episode after that.
Definitely got a mega episode coming.
And then I think a lot of our episodes this summer are going to be mega episodes.
Yeah, kind of. I hope you like hanging out at the theater, Andy, because you're not going home.
I'm here anyway.
Yep.
But so happy summer, everybody. This is going to be good.
It is the start of something fun. I tell you what. Alrighty. Well, any other news you can think of?
No, that's
me neither.
All I can think of.
Okay. Well, then I guess, guys, just make sure you leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, if you're listening on Spotify, you can vote for good, bad, great, or terrible. What is it you think about the movie we're talking about that week?
If you actually saw it.
If you actually saw it. If you didn't see it, I have no way to verify it, but come on.
Lie.
Come on.
Just boost our numbers. We'll appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, we just want that engagement. That's why we say names wrong and stuff. It's just to get people to, we just rage bait. So, and you know, these polls are going really well. The last one that people actually voted in was Love Hurts. So if you could vote the next couple.
Nobody's voted.
No one's voted on any of the other ones, but that's okay. We're building an audience, Andy. That's what's happening here.
What happened? Did everybody agree with us with Love Hurts? That sucked.
The one person who voted said good, which I misspelt with an E on the end, so I don't think it counts.
Oh, he liked it?
Yeah, they said good for Love Hurts.
Well, he has no taste.
But I wrote it with an E, so technically that wasn't even an option.
How did you even like that film?
I don't know. How did I spell good with an E on the end? Mistakes happen. Some people like bad movies, and some people were homeschooled and can't spell. All right. Well, I guess that means that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate you very much. Share it around with someone you love if you love it. Share it with someone you hate if you don't.
So next week, we'll be back with Final Destination Bloodlines.
Oh, yeah. Let's get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. That means there's only one thing left to say, and that is we'll see you at the movies. Bye.
Bye, y'all.